Okay, so first I wanted to deal with a small issue, but I do think that the conceptual implications for some of the things we have been talking about are important, and that is the timing issues. Two timing issues specifically. One is the Gemara says that outside of Yerushalayim, so in the time when they brought the Karban Omer, it was usher to eat the new grain until Chatzot, and by Chatzot you were allowed to eat it. Very good. Why? Because the assumption that Eid Bet Din Mit Atzlimbo, that the court is not going to be lazy, and therefore by Chatzot Hayom you can be sure that they're done. So one thing I want to do is talk about Chatzot. The second timing issue I want to deal with is what is Heter Pnei Mizrach. Maybe I should have done it. Maybe I should do it the other way. Though we've talked about that a little bit, right? Which sunrise is it really sunrise? Is it dawn, or something else? So there are some halachot where day is dawn and some where it's sunrise. And which one is it here? And then I want to talk about the tzakana. Those are the three issues I have left that I want to talk about in this sugya before I move to the halacha l'maisa issues of Chadash and Chutzlar, Chadash owned by a guy. Well, I mean that sugya, which is obviously the most l'maisa, but we have to finish this first, okay? So I want to deal with those with the two timing issues first, okay? So maybe we should start with number 2 here, with the timing issue of sunrise. So if you look at the Sfat Emet argues based on Rashi. Rashi says that Heter Pnei Mizrach is sunrise, nates, ha-nates. I don't know why I do nates. Ha-nates hachama, right? So that was what I gave you here in 2. The Pirish Rashi, ha-nates hachama, says even though in general day is Amud HaShachar, is dawn, he says, why is it that when it comes to Chadash, the relevant day break is sunrise? So what does he say? Because, what's the source here? The source isn't Yom. Right? The Sfat Emet argues like this. When you have a halacha which is related to day, because it's a day halacha, so then the time is dawn. But here, it never says day. What does it say? Ad etzem hayom hazeh. Ad etzem hayom hazeh, which is the quintessential part of the day, the essence of the day, the strength of the day, otzem of the day. So therefore, Sfat Emet argues, is Chodesh Yir Rashi Kevan Dechtiv etzem hayomu hu aneitz hachama. So he argues that is neitz hachama. So his argument is simply that here the standard is different. We're not talking. No, well, because you've been out at dawn. At dawn, is it light yet?
Why isn't it later?
Right. So you could have argued later in a chanami, right? You could have said once you're making a diuk in etzem, so maybe you would have thought that not only is it sunrise, but maybe you have to make a chatzot or something. You're right. You could have done that, but his argument is that once Rashi says that it's sunrise, we have to assume that it's because he's mechadesh, that it is not the normal definition of day, which is Amud HaShachar. And the only reason he can think of for this is because of etzem hayom hazeh. Now, the Aruch LaNer argues based on Rashi and Daf Hey that ad etzem hayom hazeh, the Targum translates as ad bichron, which is the Riyad Hayom. And the way he understands it is that basically the phrase is, right, etzem is until like you can really see the light, and it's ad v'ad v'chal, that basically it becomes morning from dawn until sunrise. And here you do ad v'ad v'chal, so that has to be the end of that period. Okay, that is his. Now there are some achronim who argue that this is not really true, that maybe it really is more from dawn. But anyways, that's Sfat Emet, that's the Aruch LaNer. And if you look, I gave you the Grizz. And he asked the question as well. To have a yom l'chol davar, Rashi kan yavam etzem hayom hazeh dahainu mi'iriyat hayom u'shud ni'el mutei layla v'lo mutei eluda shachar. But the Grizz says you could argue and say that Rashi is wrong, that maybe etzem hayom hazeh just means not night, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to wait until sunrise. Okay, that's just a small issue. The second timing issue that I want to discuss briefly is this chatzot question. Right, so if you look, and this is an interesting point, which chatzot is it? So if I asked you, which chatzot should you wait until, what would you say? What? Yeah, the one in the middle of the day. Where? So you would have thought Yerushalayim, right? Because the issue is about bringing the carbon, right? So if you look... So if you look at the Rambam says, "Bnei sheyodin she'ein beidin mitzadlin bo v'nechei omer shezichem lishmon chatzis hayom Yerushalayim kodem yom eitel anshe oto makom." The Rambam says exactly. That's exactly what it is, right? Chatzot is defined by Yerushalayim. V'visha efshar yeh lefnei chen o acharei chen v'yodeya davar zeh b'yediat orech ha'artzot k'visha mavartem eitel ha'tovim. So if you look at the Karen Orah says that that's true for chatzot, but what is it not true for? Right, but what does he say it's not true for? Chatzot is almost definitely going to be the Chatzot Yom Yerushalayim, because what you need is the carbon, right? Yeah. But what about Heter Pnei Mizrach? So that's a bigger shayla, because Heter Pnei Mizrach, right? What about in the places right where there's no carbon? Being Heter Pnei Mizrach, then what would you say? Is it Yerushalayim or not? So remember we talked about it. When we said why would you say Heter Pnei Mizrach? There's two ways to say it. One is that it's mamish the day. Right? It's just that when there's no carbon, you just wait until the day. Then what would you say? You wait until morning wherever you are. But if you say that, why do you wait until the 16th? Because what?
Just leave it here.
Right, but if you say, let me at least get this point out, and then we'll take it down. But what do you say? Right? So that's, well, what about sunrise, what about Heter Pnei Mizrach? So if you think that the reason Heter Pnei Mizrach is matir, so then what? So it might be, you think it's just a din in the Yom, so it might be wherever you are. Right? Just like Shabbos starts wherever you are, and Sukkot starts wherever you are, whatever. But if you think that why is Heter Pnei Mizrach matir? Not because the 16th is matir, but because the Yom HaNeif is matir. Right? The day on which you could bring the Omer, so then you might argue that what? Because then you might say that it's not the 16th, it's the rising, it's the potential of bringing the Omer in Yerushalayim that's matir. Right? So if you look at the Karen Orah addresses this point, and the Karen Orah says, V'nir dozim hazeh kol echad lefi mekomo. Ki heichlam an ha'retzim kula yom ha'mash m'rashari b'urta shesei nagi devzar v'lo matzinu shetzorch l'dagir b'avor yom Yerushalayim dafka v'kol echad lefi mekomo chanamim an Heter Mizrach matir kim lefi mekomo. Like etc. So he said when it comes to sunrise, he thinks that Pashtus is, while it comes to Chatzot, Misvara, you have to wait to Yerushalayim, because that's just when are you sure they brought the carbon. When it comes to Heter Pnei Mizrach, he thinks that Heter Pnei Mizrach is wherever you are, because it's in the Yom. Right? But if you wanted to push back on it, you would say that it's not a din in the 16th, it's a din in the Yom HaNeif, the day that you're going to wave the Yomer, in which case you could have argued that even that would be totally in Yerushalayim, which I think would be a chiddush, right? Not impossible, but okay, yeah. For which one? Chatzos? I mean, Chatzos is clearly based on Yerushalayim, but that's because Chatzos Yerushalayim is what time do you think they brought the carbon? Yeah. So sunrise, I don't think. I think that'd be a chiddush, right? I think Pashtus is like the Keren Ora, right? That's my guess, but you could argue not that way.
But it's hard to say that if the pasuk says both, right? You want to say one is the Gashra or say or whatever.
Right? You could. You.
Want to say it. It's difficult to say that the pasuk means one of them is in your life, the other one is.
No, because they're different. They're functioning in different ways, right? Because the reason you wait till Chatzot is only in a time when you have the Beit HaMikdash and you need to wait till bringing the Omer. So then, the reason you wait till Chatzot is not magical. Chatzot, right, if you live closer, it's whenever they bring the Karban. Right? Now, the one interesting question that the Mefarshim bring up is, what happens if they brought the Omer, but you're living in a place where the sun hasn't risen yet?
So the last number is...
Right? Meaning... Right, you're behind Yerushalayim time. So they brought the Omer, but you haven't. Right, so then that's already an interesting question. Right, because remember, if you think that when there's a Mikdash, the only thing that's matir is the Omer, you would say that it's mutter, even when it's still dark by you. It's not even the 16th by Yom yet. Right? But if you think that you need both, Heter B'nai Mizrach and the Omer, right, and the Iker matir is Heter B'nai Mizrach, so then you would assume that if the Keren Ora is right, you have to wait till sunrise by you, even if they already brought the Omer. Right? Right? Okay. Fine. Those were just a little bit of timing issues. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the... Oh, okay, sorry. And that was actually the next source I gave you. And this is this kashrut-kosher, okay? I gave you this kashrut-kosher. Zilberstein, he says the following shayla. Says, how could you come up with a case that you'd be allowed to eat chadash before sunrise? So he says, well, nemar mezech menachot, mishikarav ha'omer hutar chadash miyad, rachukim mutar mechatzarim la'alon, mipnei ma rachukim mukarim mechatzor hayom la'alon, mipnei shein yodin shein medamazambo, be'echa Rambam, etc. So he says, Klomar, b'makor chokim lo ochim lefi shot hachatzot shoto makom, lefi shot chatzot b'Yerushalayim. Right? That's what the Rambam says. When it comes to chatzot, you go b'Yerushalayim. V'lachein, in b'shat chatzot b'Yerushalayim, b'shat tiyeh sheish b'boker, b'makom ziyam b'chutz la'aretz, chadash yemud b'rechila, keven she'ezer chadash, toli b'avad omer. V'omer, kvar hukra b'zman b'Yerushalayim, b'chadash huter b'chol olam. Look at the Karen Ora, as I already said. And then he says, look at the rocket shover. He said, what was the Havamina not like the Rambam? Because you might have thought Chatzot was a takana, a formal takana. Right, that's what the Rambam is coming to tell you is not true. Chatzot is just when we assume that the carbon's already been brought. But you might have had a Havamina. He says, but Yerushalayim, but Tzion Sham Yerushalmi b'Damai, like Machlokes Rebbe Elazar Shimon Gayapero Damai, etc. And then he says, but look at the Minchas Chinuch, who asked, but the Gemara says, Ulama Gazer Yochanan Zakkai Yom Kol Asur, Chotz Yom Lan Tishrei, B'chol V'Yarama Zlim Bazar Chatzot Yerushalayim, Im Kein Kemen Shezer Chadash L'Chol Masur V'Lo Kulam. Bikim Chalach Maz Atchuna Alulin Lechol Bizman Chatzot Shibim Koman. Firu Shezeh Yem Mukdam L'Chatzot Yerushalayim L'Chein Tiken Yochanan Zakkai L'Asur Kol Hayom. Right, the Minchas Chinuch says, according to this, maybe the reason that Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, you might have said maybe Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai was Asur all days because not everybody knows time differences so well. And he gives a different answer. So he says, according to but then he says, maybe not. Right? Right? And so that's his suffix at the end. Is you really could take this two ways, right? Because you could say that according to everyone, once the Omer is brought, right, so it's mutter. Or you could say, no, you need Omer plus Heter B'nai Mizrach. Right? in which case it would be usher, you need both. And again, this might come down to how do you understand? Is the Omer Matir by itself? Is it the Omer plus Heter ben Mizrach, like the Shagazaryeh? And I think it might also come down to whether you think you need Heter ben Mizrach of Yerushalayim or your place. Everyone seems to assume that it's the Heter ben Mizrach of your place, right? But again, if you wanted to define it as Yom HaNeif, so I think another way of answering this question would say, no, maybe it depends on Heter ben Mizrach plus Avaz Omer of Yerushalayim. Because again, that would be a big chiddush, but it's not, I guess, a theoretical impossibility. That doesn't seem to be the assumption in the poskim, because it is pretty mechudash as things go. Okay, do you want to take a minute to take that? Actually, no, you'd have to go through. You have to go through Chaim Ozer. It's not. It's not worth interrupting his shir also. Okay, so now let us move to the takana. Okay, so this Gezeirah, I see that I gave you a lot of sources, but you really don't have to read through all of them. And I didn't even have to tell you don't read through all of them because I didn't expect you to.
A lot of sources. What a surprise!
You're never gonna win.
Fine. So, okay. So when it comes to this Gezeirah, if you skip down to the Gemara Rosh Hashanah, this Gemara appears almost identically in three places. Our Gemara in Menachot, the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, in the context of the Gezeirah regarding blowing the shofar outside Yerushalayim, and in Sukkah regarding the Takana of Yochanan Zakkai to take the lulav for 7 days after the Churban Abayit in outside the Beis HaMikdash. Okay. So if you want to just refresh your memory, the one thing that the Gemara Rosh Hashanah adds, but I'll read through it quickly, it'll give us Chazara. Right, so originally the lulav was carried 1 day in the mikdash and 7 days in the mikdash and 1 day outside. So the Gemara says, how do you know, this we don't have in our Gemara, that you're chayiv to make zeichel l'mikdash? That's an obligation. Damar kra ki aleh ercha lach u'mimakotcha v'echanu Hashem ki nitche karu lach tzion he doresh ein la. It's from the end of the pasuk. And no one was doresh Yerushalayim. So the Gemara derives Michal Dabai Drisha. From here you learn that it's a problem not to be seeking out Yerushalayim, which shows you that it needs someone to seek it out. That is a value. And then if you remember, this is exactly our sugya. My time of Mikdash, Ramu Shtaket Milo Achalnu Meher Pnei Mizrach Achshav Nami Nechol V'lo Yadu Dishtaket Lo Omer Mizrach Heter Ashtik Omer Matir, etc. Right, the same sugya as we have by us. So now, if you look at Rashi, there are some questions on the nature of this takana. Right. So remember, the takana is basically that. Why is it that you have to wait all day? So the Gemara says, because. Let's read the Gemara one more time. Let's read through it. So the Gemara says, why do we have the Gezeirah all day? Because we're worried that you're going to get confused. The Gemara says, why don't you wait until Chatzos? So, he says, because once the Beis HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt, they're going to have to be worried. If it's built on the 16th, Harei or Mizrach Matir. If it's brought if the Beis HaMikdash is built after the 16th, then what happens? Sunrise was already Matir it. El Divni B'chamisar. It must be that it was built on the 15th, which means that the Chiyuv HaOmer already kicks in, and that's the problem. But he says, Mechatzos Hayom Lishri. It should be mutter from Chatzos. Again, let me make sure. It's a bit confusing. Let's try it, right? So the Gemara says as follows. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says that when we always forbid the entire day on the 16th, Gezeirah, right? According to the understanding of the Gemara, that according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, fundamentally it becomes mutter Meher Pnei Mizrach on the 16th. The Omer delays the Isser, so when there's no Beis HaMikdash, because we're worried the Beis HaMikdash is going to be built next year, we forbid the whole day, because otherwise you'll think that you were allowed to build it, that you were allowed to eat from sunrise just like you did last year. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. Why do you have to wait all day? Why don't you wait until? Do you not only have to wait until Chatzot? Because let's say Beis HaMikdash is built, so then they're going to bring the Omer. So when's it going to become mutter? By Chatzot, because by Chatzot you're going to bring the carbon. So the Gemara says, well, let's play it out. When is the Beit HaMikdash built? If the Beit HaMikdash, you only start building it in the morning, on the 16th, good. This is why I wanted to do this. So, very briefly, Right? So then what? If you're going to build it in the morning on the 16th, so then once the sun rose, it was already mutter. So do you have to wait till the Omer?
At what point?
1 second. Do you have to wait till the Omer? No. What if it was built on the 15th? So then, yes, but when should you bring the Omer? You'll have brought the Omer by Chatzot. So on what day would it be, right? What is the scenario in which you would bring the Omer and have to wait until the end of the day? Right? Either you don't have to wait at all because the Beit HaMikdash wasn't built until after sunrise, or you're going to bring the Omer, in which case you'll have brought it by Chatzot. So why would Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai have to make a Gezeirah not to eat till the end of the day if we say that whenever you bring the Omer, there's never a case of bringing the Omer until after Chatzot? Now Daniel's already thinking what Rashi wants to deal with is how exactly did you build the Beit HaMikdash that fast?
Started building it.
Oh, very good. So, well,
And also, at what point are you chayav to bring the korban? Meaning, it has to be fully completed and then you bring it, or...
good, so let's see. That's exactly why I said I want to talk about the Gezeirah for a minute. Because what is this? The Gemara says, so lo nisrcha de'ivni b'chamisar samuch l'shkia zachama. So the Gemara gives two possibilities. One is that it was built on the 15th, right before sunset. Inami de'ivni b'lelia. Or it was built at night. What?
Is this like their goal to finish at this specific day? Like,
So that's when Mashiach came. I don't know. So look at Rashi. Rashi is as confused as you are, right? Rashi is like, what is going on here? So Rashi says, "Lo tzricha de'ivnei samach l'shkia rachama, the chamisar nevnem b'layla." Why is that a solution? Right? The Gemara says Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai needs to make his Gezeirah for two scenarios: where you build right next to sunset, right, or you built it at night. So Rashi says Rabbi Yochanan choshesh l'shema yibaneh l'shkia rachama. O belel shisha aser b'chatzi alayla, o samach levakro, shlo yeshahud l'ktirato v'yivuvo be'aviv, she'aklam d'chov ha'gadov ha'kavod ha'chatzot, v'yorigile l'meichal chodesh mechatzot ha'yom b'zman hazeh, ad l'meichal yom ha'achi. V'av de'yisura. Rashi says, what's the problem? If you start building right before sunset on the right, or in the middle of the night, so you're going to be chayav to bring the Omer, but it's going to take it a little bit of extra time to finish building the whole Beit HaMikdash, go and cut some grain, and bring the Omer. So even though normally we say that the Beit Din does not delay bringing it past Chatzot, in that one extenuating circumstance that you're building the Beit HaMikdash at night, you might be delayed a few hours, and for that Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai makes it that it's usher the whole day. That's Rashi's solution. So then Rashi says... And then Rashi said, but wait a second, that only solves building it samach l'shkia. But there's a problem. It's usher to build at night. So how could the Gemara even say building at night? The Gemara in Shavuot says, De'ein beit hamikdash lo b'yom tov lo b'layla.
Why is it usher?
Because the Gemara says that in Shavuot, Daf Tet Vav Amud Beis. That's a sugya in itself. So Rashi answers, Hani mili binyan bidei adam, avol binyan ha'atid lavo bidei shamayim. So this is Rashi's solution.
Oh, God stopped something.
No, God drops the Beit HaMikdash from heaven down.
Oh, right. Oh, that's where they get it from.
Oh, very good. That's why I wanted to do this. I thought you'd like it. Right, so Rashi constructs the entire Gezeirah as follows. We're worried that God might drop the Beit HaMikdash out of heaven in the middle of the night because you're not allowed to build the Beit HaMikdash at night. Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai's entire Gezeirah is for one scenario. It's where the Beit HaMikdash, either you built it right before Shkia and didn't have time to get everything done, or God dropped the Beit HaMikdash out of heaven at 2 in the morning on the 16th, and by the time you realized the Beit HaMikdash crashed out of heaven and said, oh my God, and your first thought in your mind was not, oh my God, the Beit HaMikdash fell out of heaven. It was, oh my God, we have to bring the Omer in the morning. Let's go find someone with a sickle to go cut some grain. By the time you manage to pull that all together, you might be delayed a few hours in bringing the Omer. For that Gezeirah, for that scenario, Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai made a Gezeirah. That is how Rashi.
It tells me that on Tisha B'Av you can see the base English in the sky.
Okay, very, very nice, yeah. Great. So this is Rashi's solution to this sugya, and the Ritva says the same thing.
So point being,
the Rashi says the same thing in Sukkah. Ritva says the same in Sukkah. So several Rishonim. This is the Gezeirah, right? So if you want to know the Gezeirah, what?
I don't take Rashi seriously.
Yes. Rashi says it multiple. Ritva takes it. Many Rishonim say this. Yes. Yes, it's a fascinating sugya. What?
God's gonna part of the thing.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. But the last part of this, the whole thing, just remember, that part of what Rashi has to posit. Wait, Daniel. So not only does you have to posit that Beit HaMikdash can be dropped out of heaven, but you have to assume that it'll be that right. What else do you have to assume? Right, and you have to assume that the Isra of building a Beit HaMikdash at night doesn't apply to God. Right, that's the other assumption.
Right. Well, halacha doesn't.
Okay, good. Fine, that's Rashi. The Meiri doesn't say this because the Meiri is a rationalist, and you can see how the Meiri might be like, I'm not so on board in this. So how does the Meiri say, well, what's the reason for the Gezeirah? Because again, the problem is you need to explain, according to the Gemara, how is it that you need to, what is the circumstance under which you need to forbid it until nightfall and not chatzos?
They finished building it Beit HaShemoneh-esrei.
So that was the first day. So the Meiri says as follows. The Meiri says, look at Meiri. He says, he says, I don't understand. You're not allowed to build at night, and you're not allowed to build on Yom Tov. He said, I don't understand either case. Right? Meaning, Rashi has to solve two problems. He's saying the Gemara says there are two possibilities. Either it's built samach l'shkia on the 15th or at night. What's the problem? Both of those are usher. Why is it usher to build the Beit HaMikdash on the 15th? That's Pesach, man. It's called Pesach. It's the first day of Yom Tif. Right? It's Chag. Right? And at night, you're not allowed to do it at night. So Rashi's solution is that either God is going to build it on the first day of Pesach, or God is going to build it on night. And God isn't limited. God can build on Yom Tiv, and God can build at night.
Yeah, why would he do that? Why would he do it if it means you have to jeopardize doing the Omer?
No, it's just it's going to delay your Omer. It's not jeopardizing. It'll take a few extra hours. You become Zocheh to the building of the Beit HaMikdash. Punkt. Seder night. So God drops it out of heaven just then. Okay? Kachaza, that's what it is.
Watch that happen.
Good. Okay, that's Rashi. Meiri.
So for those that go on a Temple Mount tour.
So Meiri says, "Imgin ma nemar besugya zudivnim chamisa v'arei yom tov v'chein ivnim alayla v'shal amida v'arei nivei yached." So he says, I don't understand. You can't build it on Yom Tov. And night, okay, maybe the machlok about night. I don't know. But he says, he says, here's my solution.
Maybe it's not really night.
What's his
we have lights.
No, so here's his solution. Meiri's solution is rationalist, but is also mind-boggling. And he says, you know what it's worried about? Yochanan Zakkai is worried that Beit Din Toim, the Beit Din at the time of Mashiach, will make a mistake in the halacha. And you're right, it's also to build on Yom Tov, and it's also built at night. What Yochanan Zakkai was worried about is that the Beit Din in the time of the Beit HaMikdash are going to be Amaratzim.
That's just as ridiculous from the complete opposite side.
Yes. So, like I said, you have two problems. The Rashi, you have to swallow the Beit HaMikdash falling in heaven. Rashi, Meiri, you have to swallow, in possibility one, that the Rabbi Yochanan, again, I want you to spell it out. The Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai said, we set up a Gezeirah that you can't eat until sunset because we're worried that the Beit Din in time of Mashiach is not going to know halacha well enough to know that you're not allowed to build the Beit HaMikdash on Yom Tif or at night. Mimela, that they will be, but they do know that you're supposed to bring the Omer, right? It's a Beit Din who's knowledgeable enough that you know to bring the Omer, but not knowledgeable enough to know Shavuos Tezvav and know that you're not allowed to build on Yom Tif or at night. So they're going to build the Beit HaMikdash Isser, and but they're going to remember to bring the Omer. But they're going to be delayed in bringing the Omer until closer to sunset, on the 16th going to the 17th, and therefore Yochanan Zakkai says, for that eventuality, you have to wait until sunset. That is what the Meiri wants you to believe is the purpose of this Gezeirah in answer 1. That's first. Ugdole.
Easier to say that.
So then he says, Ugdole Rabbanim Pershu mitoch kach shem yivanev nes. And he says, because of this, right, because of everything he just said, that's why Rashi didn't say that, and Rashi said, it must be it fell from heaven. Right, meaning, he says, right, these are the two options you got. Meiri in Sukkah, it says, So Meiri and Sukkah says slightly differently, and he says, why would they make a mistake? Not because they're Amaraksim, but because they chibar HaKodesh meviatan lakach. That they're so wrapped up in the love of the Beit HaMikdash that they're going to forget the halacha temporarily. And that's what you're concerned about. Those are the two things. Only slightly better. I don't know if I have a good answer for you.
I think it's better than saying they just don't know the halacha or that they fell out of the sky.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. But those are the 2.5 options that you have to explain the very strange.
You might think that the base of Mikdash, that you can build it now, trumps all other halacha.
Well,
Or make that mistake. I don't think that's
so that could be what Meiri is saying in his first answer, that you just make that mistake.
that makes more sense.
Okay. Anyways, I like I said, there's no like lumdus here that I can possibly explain to you. I just wanted to spell out what is the rationale of this Gezeirah.
Now I know where that Rashi is from. Because I've been people we've talked about it on the
Yep. Now, Tosfos says, right, so Tosfos tries to defend it and says maybe it doesn't mean on the 15th, it means going into the 15th, and therefore it's on Erev Yantif, and that's what it's talking about. But in the end of the Tosfos also concludes, like Rashi, that what we must be talking about is
I mean, to be fair,
is the Beit HaMikdash falling out of heaven. Well,
the base of Mikdash should probably take over a year to build. So,
so the Kapot Marim just notes. So Tosfos gives two answers, guys. So Tosfos gives two answers, guys. So Tosfos gives two answers. Tosfos says either we're talking about a case where you build it on the 15th, right? The 14th going into the 15th, or it drops out of heaven. The Kamot Marim just says, what's his suffix? What's his suffix? Yeah. Why does Tosfos give two possibilities? Right? Tosfos gives yet another possibility. Maybe what it means is it's going to be built
because he doesn't want to say it fell out of heaven.
So you could have just said, right. So I would have said maybe he's just misupik about whether it's going to fall out of heaven. The Kabot Marim says no. He's misupik about whether God has the same limitations as human beings and whether God is allowed to build a Beit HaMikdash at night. Yeah.
Is that considered building?
I don't know. I didn't make it up. This is hard for me to swallow also. What do you want?
No.
Anyways.
The question isn't God making it. The question is, placing considered an act of building?
So, now if you look at,
it's not good with positive.
So if you look at 8, I gave you just a little bit of a summary from some of the Achronim, from Rabbi Yashiv, and I gave you from the Daf HaDaf. So Rabbi Yashiv says, well, there's other possibilities, right? First of all, it could mean that not that you built on the 15th, right? But that by the time you got to the 15th, you finished right before then, right? That's what he's saying, right? Going to your process thing, right? So far, everyone else is assumed just build right away. He says, no, maybe it's saying you just finished the finishing touches by then, or something like that, and you're just
say that God stopped the sun again, and then once you finished, he
I don't know.
go, and then it instantly became
and
something.
He said there's another possibility, which is to note. He says there is another possibility, which is to note that the Minchas Chinuch says that if you did build the Beit HaMikdash at night, it's kosher b'diavad.
Well, can we do that sugya? Is that deraisa, but like
what?
Not building at night, or is it?
It's a sugya and shuas.
Yeah, can we do it?
I guess. So he says what it could be also is
You just hold like the other.
no. So then he says. So then Rabbi Yasha gives a fourth possibility. He says, you know what? I have a solution. He says some of the Achronim imply that the only thing that can't be done at night is Gemar Binyan Beit HaMikdash, like the finish. Yeah, the Magav Hadish. So he says, I have a better solution. You know what the Gemara means? And this is probably the most rational solution. Is you built it, and then, when it says Ivni Balayla, it doesn't mean that you built the whole thing at night. What it means is, you were building through the night, and like as the sun rose on the 16th, you finished it, and that's why you're rushing. Right? Meaning you've been building it through the night to get the finishing touches. As soon as the sun rises, you put the halachic makabeh patish, and once you did that, you were delayed in what? You were delayed in getting the new grain because you were building Beit HaMikdash all night, and once you say that so he says, once you think that the Isser to build at night is only to finish it at night, so you could be working on for weeks, months, who cares? The point is that you didn't get to the finishing touches until right in the morning. And that's why you're busy, and that's why it's going to take you extra time to get the Omer together.
No, you put the finishing touch you put on by Aloha Shachar, and by Hanetz you'd already have your...
or whatever. But he says that's another possibility. Honestly, if you want a solution that solves all the problems we've been talking about, Rabbi Yashiv is the one who gives it to you, right? Where he just says, you finished it at the morning, and that's what it is. I don't know how long it took you. It took you days or weeks, who knows? And then he notes it really isn't achronim. It isn't machlokas achronim whether it is ma'akev at night. B'diavad. Okay, I gave you a bunch of summaries in the achronim here from the daf al daf, so I'll summarize some of them outside. So now this gets even stranger because he says, right? One of the achronim, the Marsham says, I don't understand. How can you even bring the Omer? First, you need to be mechanechet. To be mechanechet, you need to bring the tamid, right? And some of the Rishonim say that you can't bring a carbon tamid unless you prepare the tamid for a few days in advance, 4 days in advance, just like with the Pesach, right? You need to make sure it doesn't have a mum, etc. So, how could, even if the Beit HaMikdash fell out of heaven, you wouldn't be able to use the Mizbeach, because the Mizbeach isn't halachically ready, because you haven't brought the Omer. So he says, so what does he say? Maybe when the Beit HaMikdash is built by heaven, Michael will come from Shamayim and also bring the Karban Tamid, solve your problem. Because once you're believing, once you're saying that that's what it is, so you might as well be Mosif Chiddush al Chiddush.
Anything else coming out of this paragraph?
Rain is coming out. So now the Lubavitcher Rebbe suggests that maybe there's a middle position. That maybe what Hashem will do, what it means is that it'll be both. The walls of the Beit HaMikdash will emerge from the land, right? Tavu be'er shara, because they sunk in, and then people will put the makah patish on it, so it'll be both man and human being. And that's really what's going on. Maybe it isn't two possibilities, it's one possibility.
Even if the walls do come out, you still got to build the rest of it.
Okay.
That's not...
I don't know. I'm just telling you what he says.
I mean, if God's going to go that far, bring the walls out of the ground, he might as well just build the whole thing. What? Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, a few other points about the takana. Okay? From Rabbi Yashiv, because I thought he had a lot of interesting points. I just want to run through them with you outside, okay? Okay, maybe we'll give another share on this, but let me just try to get some issues here. A few other harot. So first of all, Rabbi Yashiv says, why is it that there was no such takana like this between the first and the second Beit HaMikdash? Why only after the second Beit HaMikdash do you find all these takanot in general, Zeichel HaMikdash? So he argues reasonably that it's because the first Beit HaMikdash, there was a nevuah that the Churban, the Galut would be done in 70 years. The second Beit HaMikdash, it's a very long time with no end in sight, which is why we had to be so proactive in making Zerot post the Churban to make sure that we remembered the Beit HaMikdash. So that's one point.
Didn't Daniel prophesy
Yeah, but no one knows what that means.
Because he was wrong.
Okay, should we go inside?
Remember this? Oh wait,
Should we?
finish his shear.
What?
Gitzer's finished his shear.
Oh.
Yeah, he left her.
Yeah. If you go through some of the achronim I gave you, you'll see some other interesting points. I'll run through a few of them that I thought were interesting. One thing which I saw in several achronim is why is it that Yochanan and Zakkai both made the takana of the sukkah, right? That and the takana of Yom HaNef. What? No, I'm still finishing. Sure, I'll do tefillah afterwards. And it just started raining outside. And the takana of the Omer. So what he suggests is the following: is that the sukkah Gezeirah, right? Remember we said the sukkah Gezeirah. We've talked about this. Seems to say that Yochanan and Zakkai is saying, "Oh, life goes on post Beit HaMikdash." Right? It used to be that you only took the lulav for 7 days in the Beit HaMikdash, and now you do it everywhere because we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, so continue life.
That only in the Beit HaMikdash.
That outside the Beit HaMikdash you only took the lulav on day one.
Like regular people.
Yeah. But nowadays we take it all 7 days. What several of the achronim are suggesting, remember, the Gris says this in one place, is maybe that these two actually function together, which I think is a nice idea. Because saying that, well, now you take lulav outside, emphasizes the Beit HaMikdash is not here, you have to move on. This Gezeirah of Yochanan Zakkai, that you have to not eat the new grain the whole day because the Beit HaMikdash might be rebuilt tomorrow, says that even if it's true that life goes on without the Beit HaMikdash, that doesn't mean we don't hope for the Beit HaMikdash to be rebuilt right away. So there's actually a link that you need these two types of Gezeirah to both say life moves on, but we don't give up on the Beit HaMikdash, which is, I think, an interesting point. There is a bit of a discussion in these achronim also. Are we really talking about the Beit HaMikdash being rebuilt, or are we talking specifically about the Mizbeach?
I have a finish. Maybe Zakkai was being big brain, and by making that Gezeirah, he had to force Rashi to say that it's going to fall out of the sky.
Anyway, so like I said, there are a lot of different points that come up here. Now there are other the Karen Ora just gives a much more pshat answer for Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, which is the following: that once the Beit HaMikdash didn't exist, now he just needed to make a takana that was shavel chol nefesh, right? That everyone would understand. So what did he do? He didn't want everyone to try to figure out what's chatzot in Yerushalayim, whatever. He just said, okay, let's just also the whole day, right? It's just, you do the whole day because it's, right? And maybe that's really what's going on, right? That maybe really what's going on is just to make it easier because of all the potential confusions. Yeah. Okay, so those are just some thoughts on the Gezeirah. There are a lot of other thoughts we could do on the Gezeirah. But I think that's all I really want to do on the Gezeirah and the timing. So actually, I didn't realize we'd get through it now. So that means we can already start the next sugya on. Are we clear? Is everything that's Gemara, or you're ready to move on to Chadash and Chutz La'aretz and those sugyas? Okay, so we'll move on to that. That's fine. Good. So after you on Tuesday.